Additionally, anything that can be located in the middle of the two divisions is also considered to be a part of this category. This category encompasses everything that falls between the two divisions. This category includes virtually anything that can be found. There are indications that the new E-Class EVE, which is expected to be manufactured in 2026 and will be an entirely new model from the ground up codenamed internally as an AO, will include a design that is capable of producing 800 volts and that its batteries will provide a 20% higher energy density. This is something that is expected to be the case. The occurrence of this is something that is anticipated to take place. This is something that is likely to take place, as it is something that is anticipated to take place. Due to the fact that this is something that is anticipated to take place, it is something that is likely to take place. Taking into consideration the timeline that has been roughly calculated, it is projected that this production will take place in the year 2026. The fact that the new E-Class EVE, which is the focus of the debate, will be made as one of the pieces of evidence that provide weight to this premise. Other pieces of evidence include the fact that the EVE will be manufactured. These pieces of evidence lend credence to this assertion, which in turn contributes to the fact that this argument is supported by these many pieces of evidence. This assertion provides support for the evidence presented here. A number of suggestions have been put up by the officials at BMW in response to the problem that has been brought to their attention. These suggestions are for ways in which the situation could be improved. In the event that aerodynamics and software are given a greater amount of attention, there is a chance that the range will be improved by as much as 30%. A occurrence of this kind is something that is expected to unfold. At the present time, this is the expectancy that is being held in expectation. It is feasible to get the conclusion that this is a consequence that has a high probability of occurring as a result of the findings of the investigation. This is a conclusion that can be considered plausible. While the original model of the BMW i3 electric vehicle was a study in a typical carbon fiber construction and quirky appearance, it was never able to gain a big number of sales in the United States. This was despite the fact that it was a study. In both of these areas, however, this was in spite of the fact that BMW was the manufacturer of the product. Despite the fact that it was one of a kind in terms of both its construction and its design, this was the situation throughout the entire process. This was the conclusion that was reached as a result of the examination, despite the fact that it was a study concerning each of these particular fields. There is a possibility that this particular factor, which is responsible for the failure of the attempt to achieve commercial success, is the cause of the failure of the vehicle to achieve commercial success, in spite of the fact that it was an attempt to do research within the construction sector. This was the situation that eventually came about. The situation was as it was, despite the fact that that was the case. In spite of the fact that it was carried out under the guise of a design experiment, this was the same circumstance that ended up taking place on the day that is in question throughout the course of the investigation. Alternative to this, BMW is optimistic that the impending 2026 BMW i3 battery electric car will not only put an end to this problem in the United States of America, but it will also put an end to it in other countries all over the world. This is because the BMW i3 is expected to be a battery electric vehicle. The reason for this is that it is anticipated that the BMW i3 will be the first battery electric vehicle that BMW designs and manufactures. This is the dream that BMW has for the years to come. Their excitement stems from the fact that it is anticipated that the BMW i3 will be produced entirely through the use of electric techniques of production. This is because the United States of America is not the only country in which this difficult problem is prominent. This is the reason why this is the case. This is the reason why things are the way they are in the current situation. To be more explicit, this is because it is anticipated that the BMW i3 will be a vehicle that is powered by internal combustion engines. This is the reason why this development has occurred. The anticipation that was present was the primary factor that led to the decision that was really made. Due to the fact that this is the situation, this is the circumstance that has arisen as a result of the situation. However, despite the fact that it is a car that shares its i3 moniker with its predecessor, It is a completely new vehicle that is based on the battery electric new E-Class platform that BMW has just recently shown. This is a significant departure from the norm, particularly when contrasted to the model that was utilized in the situations that took place in the past where it was implemented. It is predicted that the corporation will commence the process of adopting a new dual-platform strategy in the years to come, and it is also anticipated that this will serve as the first stage in the process of putting these plans into reality. Both of these events are expected to take place in their respective years. To put it another way, it is anticipated that this will be the very first stage of the procedure. The scope of this approach is anticipated to include the sale of electric automobiles in addition to the sale of a wide variety of automobiles that are powered by gasoline engines. This is a prediction that has been made. Additionally, this plan will take into consideration the marketing of automobiles that are fueled by gasoline. This is an important consideration. This will be followed by the introduction of the new i3 electric car sedan to the general public, and it is anticipated that this will serve as the foundation upon which the construction of the sedan will be carried out. Furthermore, after it is finished, it is going to be used as the basis for the X3 tiny crossover electric vehicle that will be built at some point in the future. This will require it to be produced when it is finally completed. This will be the situation. For the purpose of providing further clarification, this is the situation that I am currently going through at this very moment. This means that prior to the product being made available to the general public, there will be no information regarding the prices of the product that is accessible to the general public. In the event that the product is initially made available to the general public, this information will not be accessible to the general public. Because the product will not be made available to the general public at that specific moment, this particular course of action is being taken. This particular course of action is being taken because the rationale behind this particular course of action describes the situation. Nevertheless, taking into account the current base pricing of the 2024 BMW i4 at $53,495 and the current base price of the 2024 BMW 3 Series at $45,494, with the 330 East PHEV costing $48,595, as well as the necessity of maintaining the showroom pecking order, we believe that it will begin at approximately $50,000. The fact that the costs for the year 2024 serve as the foundation for this should not come as a surprise. It is anticipated that there will be an increase in pricing across the board by the time the model year 2026 arrives because of this. The reason for this is that this is the basis upon which this is built, which is the reason why this is the case.